it turns out that Chuck Schumer was indeed behind the Democrat plan to cave for this whole shutdown thing with no benefit. Like, literally, they just wanted to give in and let the Republicans pass their stupid continuing resolution.
This is a 5-alarm fire. Chuck Schumer is about to cave, and I need every single person that sees this to call his office. This is his office number, and demand that he does not cave. Axios has just reported that Democrats are going to cave. And what they're going to do is say, hey, we'll vote to open up the government as long as Republicans promise to get a vote for the Obamacare subsidies in December. When the fuck has the Republicans ever actually gone through with their fucking word? They literally have not sworn in a democratically elected official in 48 days.
We have breaking news right now. Senators have reached a deal to reopen the federal government, with some suggesting that Democrats are caving to reopen the federal government at this time. According to Axios, here is the deal that is on the table. Senators will be voting on this deal this evening. 10 Democrats are likely to support a procedural vote on a package of funding bills along with a clean continuing resolution in exchange for a vote on Affordable Care Act tax credits in December, along with an agreement that there would be a reversal of the RIFs, the reductions in workforces. That is essentially, it's a big deal. This would reopen the federal government and ensure that air traffic controllers are paid, SNAP benefits are fully paid out. Now, there's a lot of procedural hurdles to reach here, but this is step one. Some are saying that this is a Democratic cave. I'm going to break it down for you on everything because really, I mean, this is Democrats folding in a way. So let's break it down right now.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a full-blown meltdown that is currently happening right now from the left over the fact that reportedly Democrats are ready to cave. Okay, now a deal apparently is imminent, right? According to Axios, there's been a lot of reporting on this. Senate Democrats, at least 10, have basically agreed that, hey, we're willing to go ahead and reopen the government. We've had enough of shutting down the government. We've had enough of taking away people's food stamps, not paying federal workers, not paying air traffic controllers. We've had enough at putting this country in danger because we want a virtue signal to the far left. Okay, we are ready to cave. And that is exactly why you have leftists who are pissed. Okay, they're losing their minds right now because of the fact that they're seeing this as a total defeat for Democrats, because Democrats aren't getting the ACA subsidies that Democrats claim that they were fighting for, right? They essentially said, we're not going to open up the government unless Republicans agreed to a 1-year extension of the Obamacare subsidies. Now, the reason why Chuck Schumer and Democrats made this proposal is because they want to rehash this whole ACA thing, the Obamacare subsidy thing, again, right before the midterms. And Republicans are just like, no, right? Like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to fall for your cheap tricks, okay? So, yeah, there's a full-blown meltdown here. You have Harry Sisson. Democrats are caving to Republicans right now on the government shutdown. A promise from MAGA to vote on ACA subsidies in 40 days is nothing. Why are we trusting them to live up to their side of the deal? Why are they fighting hard on this? Total BS. Don Winslow says, Democrats, 11 or more Democrats are reportedly breaking ranks and preparing to vote for Trump and against their own party and country. They are getting nothing in return. Zero gain on ACA subsidies. They are giving up everything for nothing. Right? Reportedly, this is the list of senators here who are caving. Okay. A lot of these senators from swing states, okay, they're saying, hey, you know what? We're tired of this, right? We want to go ahead and open back up the government. And again, we're going to see. But again, you know, you have a lot of outrage here from the left. Keith Olbermann says, Dear Democrat senators, if you vote for this selling out of the ACA, it will be the end of your careers. Depend upon it. You are there to defend this country against Trump and the fascists, not collude with them. If you become Quislings, you will forever remain Quislings. Crystal Ball says, beyond pathetic. You have Hassan Piker. He says, no one wants to see the government shutdown continue. Why is this weirdo blaming Dems? You just won the election on being in opposition to Republicans and instantly shift the blame back to Dems. Can't stand centrist Dems. Yeah, so he's talking about Abigail Spamberger, a.k.a. Abigail Spamberger, right? Apparently, she went on Face the Nation and admitted that, yeah, Democrats are the ones that are responsible for this, which, again, is clear and obvious to anybody with 2 brain cells.
Virginia boasts one of the highest numbers of federal workers in the country, and as you know, many of them are not getting paid. You know, some in your party look at your election on Tuesday and the win in New Jersey and say that is permission to hold the line in Congress and refuse to fund the government or fold on the shutdown. Should congressional Democrats view your victory that way?
Absolutely not. Our victory was a victory that was based on a campaign that was addressing concerns related to costs and chaos. My campaign across the past 2 years have been focused on hearing the challenges that people are facing all across Virginia. It's rising costs in healthcare, housing, energy, and it's the chaos coming out of Washington that has been impacting Virginians so severely, beginning with the DOGE efforts, of course, continuing with chaotic trade policies, and now in this government shutdown. Virginians need to and Virginians want to see the government reopen. And my expectation is that we will see a Congress, a Senate, and ultimately a president driving us in that direction.
But should congressional Democrats open the government and then talk about health care?
The government needs to open, and it needs to open immediately. We need the president to demonstrate leadership, bringing people together, endeavoring to get through whatever negotiations need to get through, whether it's before or after. My priority is focusing on the needs and the devastation, frankly, that more than 300,000 Virginians are facing. And that's just the federal employees, government contractors. They will never get made whole. The entirety of Virginia's economy is impacted by this shutdown, just as we've been impacted by DOGE attacks, and the government needs to reopen.
Yeah, so basically what she's admitting, what the mainstream liberal media is admitting here, okay, is that Democrats are at fault. And this is why I think that the political calculus from a lot of these leftists who are boohoo whining and crying is off. Okay, it's off. They're getting this wrong. It's actually better for the Democrats to cave now while they're ahead, right? While they can say, okay, we got a big election victory because of this. Because let's be real, one of the reasons why they performed so well is because there was a perfect storm that happened going into that election, okay? A perfect storm. And they blamed it all on Republicans. And it worked. But see, what happens is that pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. When you're a hog, right, when you overeat, right, that's when things start to backfire. Again, anybody that is paying attention to the shutdown, that is not a complete and total partisan hack, knows that Democrats are the cause of why this is happening, right? Eventually, if Democrats continue to hold out and they come up with these goofy explanations for why is it they can't agree to the same spending that they agreed to under Joe Biden multiple times, people are then going to start to say, well, obviously Democrats are the problem here because they can open up the government and they can talk about Obamacare later. But see, again, a lot of these leftists, they don't understand when you're greedy and you end up eating too much, that's when you throw up, right? It backfires. So Democrats caving right now is probably the smart thing for them to do because ultimately in the day, they don't have much to gain by continuing to drag this on. And they got a whole lot to lose, right? So, you know, that is obviously something that leftists don't understand. And I want to react to this clip of Kyle Kukalinski essentially calling for Chuck Schumer to lose his job. I mean, he's probably going to be primaried anyways, over the fact that he's caving. So they're begging their followers to call Chuck Schumer because of the Democrats caving.
All right, guys, I'm sitting here prepping for the show, and I just came across some major breaking news that I wanted to share with you right now. So we're just getting word from Axios that it looks like Chuck Schumer is caving in this shutdown fight. So here's what they say. A deal in the Senate A deal in the Senate to end the government shutdown is within reach. Multiple sources from both parties told Axios at least 10 Democrats are likely to support a procedural vote on a package of funding bills and a CR, sources said. It would be in exchange for a vote on ACA tax credits, that's the Obamacare subsidies, in December, and some language regarding RIFs. That's a total.
Yeah, so let's talk about the RIFs thing, right? Let's talk about the layoffs, because essentially what Democrats are requesting is that Republicans reverse the layoffs, and Republicans are agreeing to it. The reason why Republicans are agreeing to it is because they know that the federal layoffs hurt specifically in states like Virginia, right, where there's a large amount of federal workers. Now, again, this is the thing about politics that I have to explain to you guys, is that, yes, I support the DOGE cuts. Yes, I support the federal government downsizing. But at the same time, what you also have to understand is that electorally speaking, that comes with a cost. Those people vote. Even though a lot of these people, they got a pretty soft landing, right? So they may have lost their jobs, but they kept like their payment for a whole year or something like that. They got a nice severance package, right? It wasn't inhumane, right? But still, these people vote, okay? And because they vote, stuff like this happens, right? Like the Virginia election. This is why I try to tell people that President Trump has actually done a lot, okay? When you look at the fact that he's closed the border, when you look at the fact that he is executing on the mass deportations, he did do the DOGE cuts, okay? He shut down the Department of Education. He is trying his best to end wars overseas. He passed the Big Beautiful Bill. He passed supply side stimulus. A lot of what's in the Big Beautiful Bill are things that he promised during his campaign, and he did his best to fulfill those promises. He's done a lot of stuff. That's the reason why the Democrats are so pissed right now, right? This is why they were able to mobilize their voters, is because of the fact that they feel like Trump has done a lot, right? And when you do a lot, what happens is that the opposition party gets upset, they get pissed off, and they vote. That's what I'm trying to explain to people when I try to tell people, hey, understand that Trump has already done a lot. People need to be patient moving forward into the future. And Republican voters need to reward the president for the fact that he has actually done a lot of things, and vote, right? Vote during the midterms, okay? Because when you actually do stuff and you get backlash for it, these people become emboldened. And when they become emboldened, they vote. And if Republicans stay content, if conservative voters stay content, we just sit at home and say, oh, okay, Trump's in office, like, we're good, right? Or, oh, well, Trump hasn't done everything that I wanted him to do, right? Trump hasn't deported 40 million people yet. Okay. Or Trump hasn't cut the budget $1 trillion yet, right? If that's the way that you think about it, you're never going to get there, because you're just going to allow the left to take back power and control, because they see Trump is doing a lot. They see what President Trump has done and say, this guy is destroying the country. So Republican voters have to step up. Conservative voters have to step up and recognize the president has done a lot, and he does deserve our support for what he's done thus far. But if you want him to do more, if you want him to continue to go further, then you have to vote. You have to vote against these left-wing lunatics who are going to be emboldened and they're motivated to vote. I want people to understand that. So a lot of people are going to complain about the Republicans basically backtracking on some of these federal job cuts. But the reason why they're doing it is because they're seeing the backlash, right? They're seeing the fact that, again, in states like Virginia, people are voting against this, right? They're pissed off, and conservative voters aren't voting enough. They aren't rewarding Republicans or rewarding Trump for the federal layoffs, even though we all supported it, even though we all cheered it on. We're not rewarding them enough when we go vote for it to actually make sense to continue to push it, right? At least as of right now.
Total cave. That's a total cave. For them to fight for 40 days right? And to then get absolutely nothing, get fucking Dickie McGee's act for it, is completely and utterly unacceptable. We just had an election. And in that election, the message was clear. We want you to fight these fuckers. Right now, they're starving 42 million Americans. That's what they're doing. They're also trying to double, triple, and quadruple healthcare premiums.
Amazing. I totally understand why a lot of these leftists are brainwashed, because when you're listening to propagandas like this, of course you're not going to know what the hell is actually going on. Oh, Republicans are starving people. Well, again, it's Democrats. They're the ones who are refusing to vote to open up the government. Clean continuing resolution. The healthcare stuff is totally separate. totally separate from the continuing resolution, totally separate from opening up the government. Democrats are the ones that are doing that, right? Democrats are the ones that agree that the Obamacare subsidies should expire this year. They're the ones that passed the bill. Republicans didn't vote on that. Republicans didn't even vote for Obamacare. So everything that's happening right now as a result of the shutdown is actually happening because of Democrats. But again, these clowns tell their audience, oh, all this is happening because of Republicans, as if we don't have 54, 55 Republicans voting every single day to open back up the government. And all the Democrats saying, no, we don't want to do it. It's easy to be a leftist. It is very easy to be a leftist because to be a leftist, all I got to do is promise a bunch of free stuff. Everything is Trump's fault. The white man is evil. That's it, right? It's easy. It's easy. Being a leftist would be the easiest grift in the world. Being conservative is hard. I got to explain to people, hey, this is why spending money is not good. This is why free stuff is not good, right? This is why that is not good and why this is not good. All this stuff that the left promised you, this is why it's not good. That's hard, right? It's hard to tell people no, right? Being a conservative, you always have to tell people no. Being a leftist, you rarely have to tell people no. You rarely ever have to tell people no. Ever.
And the best that you're going to get is a fucking promise on a vote in December? Why would you trust them?
Well, here's the thing. What, again, clowns like Kyle Kulinski don't understand is that this actually is better for Democrats. And the reason why is because of the fact that if Republicans vote on Obamacare subsidies and they choose not to have them extended, then what happens is that if the premiums go up, people are going to point to the finger at Republicans and say, well, they're at fault. Now, the good thing for Republicans is that it gives Republicans enough time to actually figure out how to counter that, like what they're going to do when it comes to the subsidies and to negotiate on something, right? Some type of compromise on the subsidies or on Obamacare or to push their own plan. I think they just need to push their own plan, to be honest with you, right? It gives them enough time to figure out what they're going to do. Now, if Democrats were insistent on Republicans having to agree on extending the subsidies right now, then that would actually be taking away leverage for Democrats because of the fact that if Republicans agree to it, it's not like their voters are going to reward them. And I highly doubt Republicans will ever agree for just a one-year extension. If they were to cave on the Obamacare subsidies, they'd probably say, hey, let's do this again in 2 years or something, right? Not during the midterms. And it's not like the government can be shut down forever. And the longer that the government shutdown goes on, the more blame the Democrats going to start to take. Again, even Charlamagne the God is like, yo, Democrats' fault. Everybody, when you actually hear these people talk truthfully, right? Anybody that's actually telling the truth, when you hear them talk, they all admit that, yeah, Democrats are at fault. All of these people who are boohoo, whine, and cry right now, they're admitting that, yeah, Democrats are the reason why this is happening. Right? Why they say, oh, it's Republicans, they're starving people. So again, what people got to understand is that voter psychology is a real thing. And because of that, Democrats know there's not much to gain by continuing this shutdown because even if they got Republicans to agree to an ACA extension, they're not going to be rewarded for that. As much as it's possible for Republicans in the future on a separate vote to be punished for not extending the ACA subsidies, right? By Democrat voters, of course, because of the fact that, some people's premiums are going to go up because of the subsidies not being extended. Even though the subsidies in Obamacare in and of itself is the reason why healthcare is so expensive, the voters are too stupid to understand that. All they know is, well, my premium today went up, right? And it's Republicans' fault. They didn't vote for it, right? Even though, again, it would be the right vote. The right thing for Republicans to do would be to not vote to extend the Obamacare subsidies. Because, again, the subsidies are the reason why the costs are being driven up in the first place. But, again, that's not what the voters see. That's not what they experience. All they know is that, hey, my stuff is going up. My healthcare is getting more expensive. Republicans are at fault. So Democrats, though, they understand voter psychology. Let me give you just two concrete examples because I really want people to understand how this actually works. The Democrats had a supermajority in 2010 when they passed Obamacare. They didn't get rewarded for that. They got blown out for years because of that. Because Republican voters, conservatives, were rightfully upset. Democrats destroy healthcare in this country, right? But again, Democrat voters didn't say, hey, we're going to get out and vote because we love the fact that Democrats passed Obamacare. That's not how it works. That's not how voter psychology works. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, one of the biggest conservative victories in decades, Republicans, before Roe v. Wade was overturned, everybody thought that it was going to be a red wave. Red wave. Democrats going to get wiped out. Roe v. Wade gets overturned. Democrats become emboldened. Liberals get upset. Women get upset. They go out and vote. Red trickle. Now, did conservative voters get out and vote to reward the Republicans for putting together a Supreme Court that actually overturned Roe v. Wade, something that Republicans have been promising for decades, and they actually did it? They actually got it done? Did Republican voters reward them for it? No. We got outvoted by pissed off leftists, pissed off Democrats. That's how voter psychology works, okay? That's all I want people to understand. So with that being said, Republicans are going to have to think of something in a month or so, if this deal holds together, to figure out what they're going to do about these Obamacare subsidies.
Why would you trust them? What's the difference between now and December? No, put the fucking subsidies in the bill now. Guarantee the healthcare premiums don't fucking skyrocket now. This is just a total cave. There's no way around it. So what I need you to do, and this is super fucking important, guys, super important. I need you to call Chuck Schumer's office. His number is 202-224-654, okay? 202-224-654. That's his Washington, D.C. office. You call, you speak to the staffer who's there, be respectful, but say, we need you to hold the line. We need the subsidies in the bill now.
You know what would be hilarious? If Republican voters called Chuck Schumer and said, no. We need you to fold, right? We need you to fold right now. We need you to open up the government right now. Now, why is he calling out Chuck Schumer? It's because of the fact that Chuck Schumer is giving permission to those other Democrats to make a deal with Republicans. He is not personally going to vote to open back up the government, I don't think, right? He's not going to do it, but he's given permission to other Democrats to do it because he actually wants to open up the government. He just doesn't want to take the direct backlash for it. He doesn't want to go on record as voting to open back up the government, right? That's how these politicians work.
Not a promise on a vote in December from the least fucking truthful people in the country, from the biggest fucking scumbags and con artists in the country. Not a goddamn chance. So you need to vote for it if and only if there are full Obamacare subsidies in that bill. Anything short of that, you tell them to go fucking kick rocks. Because I got news for you. The election was loud and clear. The other thing that's loud and clear is Trump's fucking approval rating and how his approval rating is plummeting. Okay, people are blaming Trump and the Republicans for this shutdown. So to fucking fold right now for peanuts to not get the thing you were fighting for is completely and utterly unacceptable. Chuck Schumer needs to fucking resign. He needs to resign for bungling this so fucking badly. You vote no unless and until there are full Obamacare subsidies in that bill. Period. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. 202-224-654. Call Chuck Schumer. I'm sure a staffer will answer, or you'll have to leave a message. Be respectful, but be very clear and say, listen, the election was clear. You should not cave. Do not cave. Caving is stabbing all those voters who just supported Democrats directly in the back. You only vote for a bill if it has the full Obamacare subsidies. Full stop. And if they continue to say no for it, okay, well, that's on you. You own this economy. You own all the pain. You own all the destruction. And be prepared for 2026 when your asses get routed 10 times worse than you just got routed. So major breaking news. As I said, it appears like the Democrats are folding. Chuck Schumer is folding. So one more time, they say a deal in the Senate to end the government shutdown is within reach. Multiple sources from both parties told Axios at least 10 Democrats are likely to support a procedural vote on a package of funding bills and a CR. It would be in exchange for a vote on ACA tax credits in December. In December. Completely and utterly unacceptable. Say hell no. Make that phone call right now. We need to apply all the fucking pressure we possibly can so that they know if you cave, it's a wrap for you. It's over for you. You're done. Fucking resign, retire, get the fuck out of our faces. You're not the leader that we need in this moment. We need real fighters. And you're fucking posing if you cave right now. Unacceptable.
I mean, it was posing the whole time. I mean, let's be real, right? Let's be real. The fact that they're having a vote on this in December tells you everything you need to know about how there was no urgency in order for Republicans to vote for it now. Okay, Republicans need to vote for it now because people are getting their premium warnings in the mail, right? Again, as if we didn't have 2 more months, right, before the end of the year. So, it looks like Democrats are folding, right? They're going to cave. We're going to see what Republicans do. They're going to have to come up with something on Obamacare. But as you can see, the liberals, they're not happy about this, right? The leftists are really, really, really pissed off. So we're going to see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.